Corrupted Gauntlet is a well-known headache amongst the old school RuneScape community for its difficult prep time, as well as its boss mechanics. And with just over 200k seen in the last month since my return to old school RuneScape, and many deaths learning this boss, I thought it would be a good time to provide a guide on how to complete the Corrupted Gauntlet, and to help you start to achieve consistent kills instead of consistent deaths. So before we get into the preparation phase of the Corrupted Gauntlet, and I'm under the assumption that you will have completed the Song of the Elves quest, there is some bare minimum stat requirements that you will need. Now on the screen now you'll be able to see that you need a minimum of 85 in each combat stat, and also 77 prayer. If you do have the Augury and Rigor prayer scroll unlocked, this will be really helpful when taking on the preparation phase, as well as killing the boss Huntleff. What's going on, guys? My name's K9Father. I upload on TikTok and I also stream over on twitch.tv/K9Father, and I upload different tutorials with old school RuneScape and also provide a variety of content such as The Last of Us, State of Decay, and quite a wide range of playthrough campaign storylines. So if you like this type of content, then please do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to make sure you miss none of our content. But finally, we'll also go through some of the things that you will need in order to be able to do this boss efficiently. The first being useful add-ons. Now there's a couple of useful add-ons that we can go through and you can install on your RuneLite client if that is what you are using. If you're not, then I would recommend using the RuneLite client, as it's got some really useful add-ons, especially when it comes to completing this boss. We'll also go through the best preparation route to take when trying to gather your supplies, the supplies required for tier 2 armor and tier 3 weapons, the Huntleff boss mechanics, and also some tips and tricks on killing Huntleff and making sure that you do not die to silly things like the tornadoes or the square formation beneath Huntleff. So the three useful add-ons I would recommend using, the first is the Gauntlet add-on. This Gauntlet add-on can be found in the RuneLite plugin hub. Make sure you download it here, go into the configuration panel and type in the Gauntlet and press the cog button. Go into the drop down menu of the resource tracking, turn on track resources, and make sure that your values are set to exactly the same as what you can see here. This will count down once you acquire one of the items. So for example, if you mine an ore, it will go from 7 to 6 to 5, etc, etc. The second add-on I would also recommend using is the Tile Indicators add-on, which you can be found here in the configuration panel again. Go to the drop down menu of destination tile and turn on highlight destination tile. This will allow you to see where you are going when you click on a tile. So for example, if I click here, it will highlight it blue, and this is really useful when it comes to dealing with the tornadoes in the Huntleff boss phase. The third and final add-on I would recommend using is the Ground Markers add-on. Now turn this on and make sure that your values are set to the same here, turning it on by here, and this will allow you to mark a tile within the Huntleff boss room. There are certain tiles within the boss room which allow you to be safe against the formations on the floor, but obviously we'll go into this a bit later on. In order to mark a tile, hold shift, right click and press mark tile, and it should come up yellow. So before you go on your Corrupted Gauntlet grind, I would recommend coming into a gauntlet and making sure that you mark up your tiles or your safe spot tiles in the boss room. On screen now you'll see a map of the boss room, and I've also indicated which tiles need to be marked to ensure that you've got the safe spots there and ready, because as you progress through the boss fight and the formations get harder on the floor, you can stand on these tiles knowing full well that you're not going to be getting hit by any of the formations. So you've completed the Song of the Elves quest, you've also got the bare minimum stat requirements to complete the Corrupted Gauntlet, and also you've downloaded or turned on all of the recommended plugins to complete the Corrupted Gauntlet. You now want to head into there and go into the preparation phase. When you get in there, you'll see 3 exits. My recommendation is taking either the north or south route, whichever you want. Neither is preferred, you could take either one. So in this instance we'll go north 1 square, west 1 square, south 2 squares, east 1 square, and then back into the preparation room. By this time you should have 1 weapon frame, 3 ore, 3 bark, 3 trinium, which is the white wool stuff, and 1 grime leaf. This is in order for you to be able to make the tier 1 armor, a tier 2 weapon, whether it be mage, range or melee, and a prayer and stamina potion, which is 1 potion. One thing to bear in mind is that within the first 5 squares you may not get everything you need for tier 1 armor and the tier 2 weapon, as the Corrupted Gauntlet is certainly in the preparation phase RNG based. So the best thing to do is going around the Huntleff boss room by taking this route here as you follow the arrows and making it back into the preparation room. By this time you should have everything you need to get your tier 1 armor and your tier 2 weapon. So as you're making your way around Huntleff back to the preparation room, you need to make sure that you pick up the additional resources needed for the tier 2 armor, and these additional resources are 4 corrupted ore, 4 Fen bark, 4 trinium wool and 2 grime leaves. And you should try and get around 320 corrupted shards, as this is going to be needed for the tier 3 weapon, as well as making the tier 2 armor and the potions. From there, I would then head out to the outer squares to find 2 demi-bosses in order to find either a mage, melee and ranged icon, and also any additional paddlefish if you haven't got any already, as you'll need a total of 20. So now you've got an understanding what the preparation route is. Let's get into a full run of the Corrupted Gauntlet. So this is one of my many successful attempts in the Corrupted Gauntlet, and in this first room I decided to go ahead and get my weapon frame, as it's the most important thing, because you want to be making sure you get a weapon straight away. So we kill these rats, the bats or the spiders in order to get a weapon frame. Fortunately on the first kill I get myself the weapon frame, but I decide to kill the additional mobs here to get myself some more corrupted shards. So I get my bark here and I move into the second room. I've been quite fortunate here because I've picked up some additional resources, including some fish, but also we've got enough resources here to get me my tier 1 armor. So all in all, you're going to need around probably about 180 to 200 corrupted shards in the first 5 squares if possible, in order for you to get your tier 2 weapon, your tier 1 armor and a potion. So I am just collecting the additional items here, and as you can see on the bottom right hand corner, the Gauntlet, which is the add-on that I showed you earlier, the add-on is telling me how many of these resources I require, and they are going down as I am searching and mining or chopping for them. So now I'll go back into the middle because I'm full on my inventory, and I'm just going to cook all my fish. And once my fish is cooked, I'm going to drop all the fish next to the furnace. Then I'm going to go over to the singing bowl and I'm going to make a decision on which weapon to go first. So I'm going to go for the mage weapon, go tier 2 by clicking it twice, and also selecting all of my tier 1 armor as well, which is the helmet, chest and legs, and also get myself a vial, put some water in it. And now I'm on the hunt for a grime leaf so I can turn it into a potion. While I'm in this room, I may as well pick the additional fish up, as this is going to save some time later on. You might not get lucky with some fish in the first 5 rooms, but trust me, as you're looking for all the demi-bosses, you will find plenty of fish to be able to pick up, as you will at this point, or at that point shall I say, you will have got your tier 2 armor and hopefully your tier 2 weapon. Now I've done all the 5 squares, we'll go back into the middle, cook our additional fish, and use some corrupted shards on a pestle and mortar, which turns it into ash. I'm going to use the ash with the vial, with the grime leaf already in there, and we turn it into a potion, which is a stamina and prayer potion. We drop all our fish on the floor, any additional fish, and we drop any additional resources on the floor as well. And on this occasion, unfortunately, I did farm 1 too many barks, but just know that that should be a 4 and not a 5. So as we go out, we head out to the demi-bosses now. We've got our tier 1 armor, and we've also got our tier 2 weapon. We're looking for 1 mining ore, 2 grime leaves, 1 paddlefish, 138 corrupted shards, and 1 weapon frame. But as we go through here, we probably won't pick up, because I'm quite experienced with Corrupted Gauntlet, I might not pick up that additional fish, but if I get some spare time, I'll go and fish for some as well. So as we're making through these rooms, normally you'll find the demi-boss in the middle of the outer edge, but sometimes it could be either to the left or right. On this occasion, this is 2 squares away from the corner, So we find the Dark Beast, which is the tier 3 range token. So we kill the Dark Beast and we'll pick up the range. Now, if you've noticed, obviously I went for the mage weapon. And in order to get the tier 3 mage weapon, we need to kill the dragon, which has got the tier 3 corrupted orb symbol or icon. So we need to find the dragon. Now, sometimes based on RNG, you might not find the dragon, or you might not find the tier 3 icon that you require based on which choice you made for your tier 2 weapon, whether it be mage, melee, or range. But don't worry, if you've got enough time, you can always try and scout for a third demi-boss in order to get your tier 3 weapon, which makes this a lot easier because then you're not looking for additional corrupted shards. So now we've killed the Dark Beast, we head to the corner and we look to find another demi-boss. As you can see there, I ran past the Scorpion. The Scorpion does actually give quite a few extra corrupted shards, so if you are running short, you could kill one of the wolves or scorpions for additional corrupted shards. In this case, we found the melee boss, which again is not what I needed because I've got the mage weapon. But the melee boss, if I pick up an additional weapon frame, so I've got 2 weapon frames, it allows me to then drop my mage weapon and then create a tier 3 melee and tier 3 range weapon. But fortunately, based on RNG again, we go into the next room and we find the mage boss or the mage demi-boss. We've got a bit of time, or enough time, to be able to kill it in order to get the corrupted orb, which means we're going to use less corrupted shards and we're going to be able to make our mage weapon tier 3. And I think in this instance, or in this run, I decided to go with mage melee because they're my strongest stats. And I pick up all of my additional resources, which is all the resources you dropped from earlier, to make my tier 2 armor. First, I make my tier 3 weapons. Then I make my tier 2 armor, once I've picked my additional resources, of course. So I make my tier 2 armor, get 2 additional vials for the 2 additional grime leaves, which will then turn into 3 potions. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out. 3 potions. So we've got then 3 potions. So you'll have a 2 dose, most likely a 2 dose, because you're probably going to use 1 dose when you're running round on the outer edge looking for demi bosses, because you'll run out of stamina. I use the 2 dose on both of the 3 doses, so it leaves me with 2 inventory spaces. I drop any additional crafting items, and I pick up all of my paddlefish in ready for the boss fight. So once you've gone through the barrier or teleported into the hunt left room, you want to be turning prey range on straight away. And when this animation appears, you need to be changing your prayer to mage and following it through. Every time he does that animation, he will do a sound with it as well. You want to be making sure that you change the appropriate prayer. So he's now changed to a range attack. And as you can see, he also changes his prayer himself, so you want to be changing your attack style to attack him. Now the tornadoes have spawned, you want to be moving around the room and making sure that you can avoid the damage from the tornadoes. And the pink fireball you've just seen there as well is turned my prayer off, so you want to be applying the prayer back on as well to the appropriate attack style that he's attacking you with. So when the tornadoes come, my advice to you, or my tip to you, would be that you wait 1 or 2 seconds as the tornadoes come towards you. If they are 2 or 3 squares away, then I would start moving. The reason why I say this is because as the fight progresses and the formation on the floor, as you can see, the squares are highlighted. As the formation on the floor starts to increase in speed, you want to make sure that you can have enough time to be able to get into position without standing on one of them squares on the floor, because then you will take some additional damage. And obviously anything bad on the floor you want to move away from. So as we're working through this boss here, he's changing attack styles. He's gone from melee to mage, and as you can see, one of the tornadoes is actually spawned on me. You can run through the tornadoes, but just making sure that you move on to a different tile before you do. So for example, don't go, if you're going down one straight line and the tornadoes are following behind you, don't go back on yourself because you will get hit by the tornadoes. You want to move to a square to the left or to the right and move back down a different line in order to avoid getting hit by the tornadoes. Now we're getting to about 500 HP. The attacks are going to start to become a bit more a bit more dangerous, and the floor formation is going to become a little bit more less safe, shall we say. As you can see, there's a lot less space for you to move around, especially with Huntleff in the middle, to get away from the tornadoes. But like I say, you've got a few seconds before the squares on the floor turn orange. So once they turn orange, that is when it's going to start giving, but it's when you're going to start taking damage if you are still on there. As you can see there, like I said before, you wait a couple of seconds before the tornadoes come towards you, and then you move. And at the same time, you want to continue to change your prayer appropriately while you're moving away from the tornadoes, so that you can avoid the damage as well as taking damage from Huntleff. Now we're at 400 HP, we're getting very close to the more difficult part of this boss, where the room starts to become a lot smaller and a lot of the squares are going to be highlighted and turn orange, and you've got less space to be safe. So now you can see that the different formations are here, and around 300 HP this will occur. So the squares start to be a little bit more difficult, so this is where it's important to have tile indicator on, because you need to understand where the tornadoes are going to be coming. Normally they always follow behind the last square that you have walked on, so just bear in mind that you need to kind of prepare yourself for the route, or for where you're going to move to safety, in order to not only move away from the tornadoes but from the floor formation as well. And as you can see, they turn orange a lot more quickly, and this is the reason why I'm saying if you wait 1 or 2 seconds, if the tornadoes are far away from you, wait 1 or 2 seconds and then you can make the decision of where you're going to go next. Look at that, I nearly died there as well. Nearly died there. So I went a little bit panicky, so I was clicking randomly there, but managed to get away with it. We're just coming up to the last 50 HP here to finish the boss off, and the tornadoes come, but I managed to kill the boss. But it's all practice, and you will get better at it as you go along. It took me at least 100 kills in order to get my head around the movement of the tornadoes and to get some sort of consistency with this boss. So here's some final thoughts, guys, and some tips and tricks in order for you to help you on your grind in the Corrupted Gauntlet. Number 1, I would practice the preparation phase and the Huntleff boss on normal Gauntlet, because you get more time in the preparation phase, and the Huntleff has less health and he deals less damage in normal Gauntlet. Just gives you a feel for what the mechanics are like, how the preparation phase works. So give it a try, see how you get on, and then if you feel confident, then go into Corrupted Gauntlet. Number 2, I would look at avoiding the previous tiles that you've walked on when it comes to the tornadoes phase on Huntleff, purely down to the fact that if you don't, you're going to take some hefty damage. So move to the left, move to the right, and then move back through if you want to. That's how I would avoid the tornadoes in that instance. Number 3, always change your prayers as soon as possible. So when he changes his attack style, make sure you're changing your prayer corresponding with that attack style. Number 4, instead of using Augury and Rigor, you could use Eagle Eye or Mystic Might if you're going to go mage range with the weapons, and use it with Steel Skin, because if sometimes you might not find loads of food, so you could get away with probably killing the boss with 14-15 food, maybe even less. Just by having Steel Skin on, you're going to take less damage because your defense is increased. Number 5, be aware of the rapid floor formations and changes. And the reason why I say this is because as the boss, as you progress through the boss and the health gets less and less, the formations are going to start coming quicker, they're going to be changing orange quicker, and they're going to become a lot more harder. So pay attention, try and get familiarity with the formations so you can kind of predict where you need to go to next. And the last of all, guys, just have some fun. It's all practice, practice, practice. It really is. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, and just have some fun. End of the day, it's just a game, so just have some fun, and eventually the drops will come. So that wraps up the Corrupted Gauntlet guide. I really do hope that this video has helped you on your grind. I wish you the best of luck while doing the grind as well, because it could be a long one for you, or it could be a short one, depending on how lucky you're going to be. If you have enjoyed the video, then please do leave it a like, and also consider subscribing and turning on your notifications bell so you never miss any of our content. If you leave a comment in the comment section below and give me a suggestion of what guide you would like to see on Old School RuneScape next, then I will consider it, I'll give it a read, and we'll have a look into making that video for you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.